Why am I so stressed out about this? Okay. Hi friends, how are you all doing? I'm Eliska and I run this channel with Jack, and we normally make videos all about travel and encouraging you to bring adventure into your everyday. This video though is gonna be a little bit different. I want to talk about why I quit my job as a corporate lawyer, essentially without a plan. I left my corporate job about 3 months ago now, and I really wanted to make this video ever since I left, but it's just been a really hard thing to bring myself to do. It just feels a bit more personal than the videos that we normally make. But speaking to people since I've quit my job, I've realized that a lot of people go through the same thought process, the same sort of doubts. And when I was making my decision, I felt like it was completely uncharted territory, that nobody had ever done it before, which obviously isn't true. Plenty of people have made career changes and career pivots. And if you're one of the people who's thinking about doing something similar, then I hope that this video helps you feel a little bit less alone, or just helps you start a conversation either in the comments below or with your friends and family. So I think for this to make sense, I have to give you a little bit of background about me. I'm a qualified corporate lawyer. I studied law at university, which in the UK, you have to have studied certain subjects in high school. So basically, I made the decision to become a lawyer when I was 16. I don't know what you knew about life at 16, but I certainly didn't know very much. So making a decision at that age about what you're gonna do for the rest of your life just seems really absurd. I graduated university with a training contract at my law firm, and you're then tied in to work for them until you qualify as a lawyer, and then continued to work there for a year and a half before I made my decision to leave. Not counting high school, that's a total of 8.5 years dedicated purely to the law. That is like a third of my life. The other storyline is that I've always been creative. I've always loved my art, photography, design, film, all the things. And in fact, this YouTube channel was an outlet for that during my years as a corporate lawyer. So let's talk about why I wanted to leave my job. Unlike a lot of people who are probably going through the career change thought process, I didn't hate my job. I know, shocker, how can you not hate being a corporate lawyer, right? I actually loved the team that I was working with. I mean, the hours could be insane, but that adrenaline kick that you get out of closing a deal is honestly like a drug. That's how they lock you in. But obviously, I always felt like the creative side of me was just never being used. I felt like the right side of my brain basically became stagnant. If you enjoy activating the kind of creative, artsy, visual side of your brain, that's just it's not part of the job. I also had lots of frustrations with the legal industry as a whole. It's a very old, slow-moving industry, and it's changing, but it's just not changing fast enough for me. Jack works in digital, so I had a direct comparison of what life was like in a really fast-moving industry. Having put so much work into becoming a lawyer, I didn't want to just throw that away, and tried to exert my creative energies through a side hustle and through doing things outside of working hours. The problem when you're in corporate law is that outside of working hours leaves you with a very, very, very slim percentage of time. I mean, my longest working day was a 36-hour workday. I literally walked in at 8 a.m. one day and left at 8 p.m. the next day. So it doesn't really give you that much free time. My last year at work was also a really busy year for my team. So I spent the majority of my time in 2018 either at the office or on my laptop or on my emails on my phone, which I didn't really mind working a lot of hours. But aside from that, I just didn't see any end point. I thought, if this is me 10 years down the line, still in this same office at 2 a.m., then I will probably jump off a building. I don't want to diss the entire corporate legal world. I think there's so many great things about it, and there's some amazing people in it, and I never want to come across as ungrateful for everything that I had in my law firm. But this is just the way I felt, and I needed to do something to change that. So I'd been thinking about career change for a long time. I actually think I knew the first day I started law at uni that it probably wasn't for me. But I didn't have any better ideas, so I just stuck with it. I worked really hard at it, and I got to where I got to. I think towards the end of 2018, it was a combination of burnout, of thinking I had more to give to the world than just the law. And then some events at the start of this year really put life into perspective for me and made me think our time here is so precious and it shouldn't be wasted on what ifs and, I don't know, not feeling fulfilled. So in January of this year, I really thought, this is the year that I'm gonna make it happen. This is the year that I am going to make a change in my life. Why is it so difficult for us to do that though? I have a few reasons why it took me so long, and it took me so much like mental energy to get to a place where I was actually ready to make a change. So first off, I'm a massive people pleaser. I just want everybody else to be happy with what I'm doing, and I don't really care if that's at the expense of my own happiness. That means that I'm a sucker for conforming to social expectations of success. And those expectations are so easy to fulfill when you're a corporate lawyer in London. Secondly, there are family expectations of you. Being a people pleaser, I just hate disappointing people. And my family were so proud of me being a lawyer that I was really scared of how they would react if I turn all of that upside down. Thirdly, there's your own expectations of yourself. When you start out training for something like the law, you know it's going to be a long journey. You put in a lot of hours and you expect yourself to get to some endpoint, which will make it all worth it. One of the things I found hardest about career change is extracting myself from the identity of being a lawyer. For the longest time, I literally thought that when I walked into a room, the first thing that everybody would think was, oh, there's a corporate lawyer who's walked in. Whether or not that's a negative or a positive connotation. Like, that was who I was. And finally, pride is a massive blocker. I got to a point in life where I was self-sufficient, I had a very good salary, and I could tell people I was a corporate lawyer. And I was proud of that. Leaving that and going back to zero is really hard. I had to have a conversation with Jack to make that decision that, like, to reduce our household income. That felt like I had to rely on somebody else to be making my decisions all of a sudden. All of that and more really made me rip out my hair over the decision of whether or not to leave my job. But here's what actually helped me take the plunge. So because I was really emotionally struggling with the decision, even though logically and consciously I'd already kind of made it, I decided to go on a career change accelerator with a company called Escape the City. Basically, it's a 3-month program and it helps you analyze where you are now, where you want to get to, and how you're gonna get there. Honestly, it was a little bit like therapy, but it was the right thing to do for me because I already knew I wanted to make that change. I just needed a little bit of structure. So I'll share with you a couple of exercises and takeaways from the Escape the City program that helped me make my decision to leave confidently. The first exercise is list all of the jobs that you've ever had. List all of the things you liked about them and all of the things that you disliked about them. Then go through all of your likes and dislikes and label them as situational or fundamental. Things that you like that might be situational are, I have a great friend at work, because that's not fundamental to the job, that's just the situation you happen to be in whilst doing that job. The fundamental stuff might be something like, I dislike writing contracts if you're a lawyer. Having done that exercise, I realized that everything I loved about my job was situational, and everything I either disliked about it or felt neutral about was fundamental. But the other reason this exercise is great is it helps you make a decision as to how much change you need to make. So you might find out that although you think you hate your job, the only thing you really dislike about it is your team. So you might not need to make a career change, you might just need to go work in a different team or in a different company. The second exercise is, if you're really like ready to make career change but you're quite scared, list out all of your worries, and then next to them list out the worst case scenario. So what is the worst case scenario of that worry? A prime example, I want to make my career change, I'm worried that it's not going to work out because I'm not going to have any money. The worst case scenario that can happen there is that either I go back to being a lawyer or I go move in with my mom. I'm sure she'd take me. Which, if you think about it, neither of those are really that bad. Like, the world is not going to end. And then the thing that I really liked about Escape the City was that they teach you to apply design thinking to the process of choosing a career for yourself. So rather than doing what I did at the age of 16 and being like, I'm gonna be a lawyer, they encourage you to prototype the process, test it, experiment, develop it before you launch head first into it. And that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm testing various things that I'm interested in and being brave with experimenting. That means saying yes to a lot of things that I'm quite scared to say yes to, just trying things out. Now, you don't need to quit your job to do this. You can definitely do it at the weekends or in your free time if you have the time. But for me, I had essentially tried to do that alongside of my job, and I had like a minor mental breakdown because I was just not getting any sleep. So I knew that if I was gonna take career change seriously, then I really had to commit to it. So basically, I've given myself a period of time during which I can experiment. At the end of that, I'll know exactly what my next steps are, or maybe I'll decide that actually the law was freaking great and I'll go back to it. And what will I have lost? 1 year. And I'm very lucky to have a very supportive partner who has been cheering me on the entire time. that about sums it up. If you take nothing else away from this video, please take away this. If you're unhappy with where you're at, or even if you're not unhappy, if you just want to try something else out, you are free to do that. But the only person who can do it is you. We're socially conditioned to find a good job and stick to it. And that works for some people and it doesn't work for other people. But you're the person who's in control, and you're the only person who can change the direction that you're going in if you don't like it. Whew, I just needed to get this video out there and I'm so happy I'm done. And on Sunday, I promise we're gonna return to regular scheduled travel programming. But if you're interested in this conversation and you would like me to make more videos on the career change topic or anything that I've mentioned in this video, then leave a comment down below. It's something I would have been interested in watching before I made my decision, so I completely get it. Equally, if you're not interested in watching another video but you would like to chat to me about it, then feel free to DM me. If you're interested in the escape school, then I will leave their links down below as well, because they really helped me. It may be for you, it may not, but it's definitely worth checking out. All right, thanks so much for watching. Give this video a little like if you enjoyed it. Give us a subscribe if you enjoy travel content, because that's mostly what this channel is. Although, funny side note story, we were originally going to call this channel Escape the City, and obviously the domain was taken and I was like, who are these guys? And then I've come full circle and done a course with them, so it's meant to be, guys. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.